Okay, so I am happy to have Rafi here with, do you say Marymount? Is that how you say
Marymont.
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 Marymont
Yeah.
Lending. And I've known Rafi for a long time. We used to work
Too long.
together and yeah, for a very long time. And I'm excited because he's going to help you guys with receiving leads, how to get leads, especially buyer leads in the mortgage side. So Rafi is one of our preferred lenders. So it's great for you guys to meet him in person and also be able to know his contact information if you ever want to use him. And we'll go ahead and get started on the training here.
Awesome, Nadia. Thank you very, very much for the opportunity to present to your team. Team, like I said, like she said, I've known Nadia for a while. 2015. No, when you moved to Florida, 15, 16?
15. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So 2015, we have some battle scars. Let's put it that way. We have some battle scars, but it's been great. And like Nadia said, really, I'm going to help you with dealing with the four main complaints, main challenges that buyers and sellers are giving us, and how to basically use facts and kind of take the emotion out of the process to get you better results, which is what we all want. Okay, so let me share my screen a little bit. And by the way, a couple of things. If you have questions, don't wait till the end. I know that some presenters say that. Just either raise your hand here in Zoom or just put something in the chat. Nadia will be monitoring the chat. So if I go like 100 miles an hour, which I usually do, she'll be like, hey, there's a question from Maya or from Brandy, and I'll slow down and answer the questions, okay? So let me share my screen pretty quick here. All right. Here. Boom. Okay. Can you confirm that you guys can see my screen with that beautiful avatar there? So if you cannot say anything like Malek, just put something in the chat. That way I know that you can actually see it. Awesome, I see that. There you go. Malek can see it. I don't know if Brandy and Maya are online or not, but okay.
I can see it.
So again, excellent. So again, we're going to talk about 4 strategies to get buyers and sellers off the fence, and you will see that there's 4 main reasons, at least based on my research and my experience with my agents, of why they're off the fence, and then what can do about it. Now, the first thing I always tell people is, it's not your fault. I know that sometimes you go, oh my goodness, I try and I keep getting these people to tell me this, tell me that. It's the market. There's a lot of information. I think the internet has been great for some things, and for others not as great, because suddenly everyone's an expert. Everyone has the cousin, uncle that is realtor, lender, inspector, appraiser, tax collector, all in one. And the only thing is that uncle cousin is now available on your phone. So we think that all these things are happening. It's not your fault. And what we will work today is, how do we overcome that fear and anxiety that people have with facts? Facts is the biggest equalizer on all these things. Taking the emotion out of it and looking at facts and going, okay, I have this. It's data driven. It's not that Nadia says it or that Naya says it, or it's just facts, okay? And hopefully you'll let me help you as a hopefully a lender of yours. I'll be backing you up with these facts when we talk about how do we help your buyers, your sellers to get off the fence. So a lot of people are going, oh wow, this is gonna be a bad year. Well, guess what? Mortgage purchases, mortgage originations declined 20% in 2023. 20%. Yet, if you look at the graph here, that means that the last time, actually in the last 23 years, only 3 years have been over what was 2023. Okay, and we expect 2024 to be better. So the sky's not falling, is what I'm trying to tell you, right? Again, if you look at the total purchases, which is the blue bars here, the orange are refis. But if you look at the blue bar over here, only 3 years, 20, 21, and 22 were higher than 23. And we will be back on 24. We expect it's going to be at least a 20%, 50% increase, right? So sky's not falling, and this is something that, again, it's data. This is nothing that we're giving up. So when you look at this and you go, oh, okay, things are not as bad, right? It's just that, again, the perception, the people, the way they feel, it's different. Okay. Now, the four main things, the four challenges that we hear a lot from buyers and sellers are, first, the reluctance to give up that low rate and move up. Man, if you have a 3%, it's going to be hard to make me move up, sell, and do something different, right? Buyers, they're waiting for rates to come down. You know what? They're 8%, 8.25, or 1 point was 8.5. I'll wait for my rates to come down, okay? Some of them are waiting for prices to come down, which, again, we'll go over that and how we overcome that. Some of them are waiting for both, okay? And then we have some buyers that have that hesitancy to say, you know what? Here's Nadia asking me to go a couple of thousand over listing. I don't want to do that. And what we're going to do is today is go over these four things and how we can, again, use facts, get the emotion out of the process, and get them off the fence. Okay. Now, reluctance to give up low rates and move up. Okay. So right now, the average homeowner has $275,000 in equity in their home. Let me say that again. $275K. A lot of people don't know that number. You know it now. Okay. So, but at the same time, the average family household has close to $100,000 in consumer debt. By the way, the average rate on that consumer debt is 22%. And I know that some of you have this perfect credit score, 850, and your cards are at 9, 10, 12%. Most people don't, right? Actually, most of the retail cards right now, those that, the Macy's, Sears, Sears, all that kind of stuff, they're closer to 30, actually 28, 29, right? So right now, the average is close to 100 consumer debt. The family, the household, they have $100,000 in consumer debt at 20, 22%. Yet they have $275K sitting on their house, right? Now, if we go into, for example, my phone. If you go into the average mortgage rate, oh my God, it is way high. Does anyone here remember what mortgage rate your parents had on their house? I don't know if anyone wants to share that.
I know they used to say that mortgage rates used to be around 14 or 15% or something like that.
Yep.
Yep. My dad bought in 1978 at 18%. Okay.
Yep.
So I know it sounds like, oh my God, we're 8. Really what's happened is that the last, probably 10 years, 10, 12 years, we basically gotten used to some artificial low rates. We were the only country in the world that kept them that low for that long, right? After the financial crisis, a lot of countries reacted and they went down. Yes, let's go down to 2, let's go to 1. Some of them even to 0. But 2 years later, boom, they went back up to 5, 6%. On average, right? We were one of the only countries that kept it below 5% for so long. So we got used to this, artificially low. They were not based on demand. There was no based on supply. It was one of those things like, hey, it feels good, so let's keep them that low. But again, if you go back to anyone that bought in the 70s and 80s, 10% was a great rate. 10%. Oh my God, you have 800 credit score, and you put in 30% of the mortgage. So yeah, the average since 1971 is 7.74. It was 8.5, a month ago, 2-3 months ago. It's been hovering between 725, 775 the last couple of weeks. So when you think about that, guess what? It's not as bad as we think. And again, these are facts. And that's one thing that I will keep pounding throughout the presentation. When you talk to your buyers, when you talk to your sellers, these are facts, okay? The other one, property taxes, they continue to rise every year, 3 to 5%, right? That the government, they need to eat. they keep asking for that. And in Florida, don't even ask me about insurance. It is absolutely off the hook. Okay. There was a question there. Do we know how we were able to keep them artificially low, like what caused those fake rates? So, and this is Malek. Malek, really what happened is that the government kept buying, right? Kept buying, treasury bonds. Usually it's the investor that says, you know what, I think, this is a good price, so let me buy. I think it's a bad price, so let me sell. Well, if you have such a big entity saying, hey, I think this is cheap, let me continue buying, right? Then those prices keep leveraging down. What has happened after in this case is that the Fed said, you know what, I'm going to let go of that. And then guess what? Those prices have been coming up in the past couple of years. But that's how we were able to keep them, artificially low. Is because of that. So hopefully that answers your question, Malik. Okay. So again, when you look at this reluctance to give those rates, well, guess what? Someone that has 275 and has that 100K at 22%, you can tell them, hey, even if you use, 100 of those 275K, you're going to have a huge reduction on your monthly cash flow, right? One, because you're not gonna have those 100K at 22%, but that the new house that you're gonna buy is gonna be at a higher price. We know that, but you're gonna be able to put 175K down on that new house. Believe me, at the end of the day, you will be paid much lower than what you're paying right now at that 22% rate on that 100K of consumer debt. Okay. And again, keep asking questions. That's awesome. Now, then you have the people that are saying, hey, I'm waiting for the rates to come down. Yeah, that's okay. Again, we already saw that the average for the past 50 years was 7.75. So it's not like, oh my God, we are way off the range here. It's just that we are used to the last 10 years. But again, assuming an average home is 420,000K, if you go 1% lower on a 400,000 loan, it amounts to $250 a month, okay, or $3,000 a year. So again, we're going from the 7.5, let's say that is today. If we wait all the way to, hey, I'm not buying until it goes down to 6.5, on that loan, you're gonna save $250 a month, which is basically $3,000 a year. Okay, now using the average appreciation over the next 12 months, that house is now going to be $23,000 more expensive, right? Which means that buying now will save your client $20,000. And again, these are numbers, guys. These are not like me coming up. No. 2 + 2 is 4 every single time, right? So if you look at that, $400,000, 1% lower, you save $3,000 a year. The appreciation that you're losing is $23,000. So basically, your client will save $20,000, and that is not including rent. So if they pay $2,000 of rent a month, we're talking about $24,000. That means that they could have saved potentially $44,000. And you need to present it like this to your buyers and sellers. That's the way you have to, in this case, the buyers, you have to sit down and say, hey, bro, it just doesn't make sense. Let's do the numbers. And there's interchange the numbers that they have with this. So instead of $400,000, if they're looking for a $300,000 home, Okay, use this math. Hey, 1% on a 300,000 is this much. Okay, the average appreciation on that house that's 300,000 is this much. Buy now save you this much, not including the rent that you'll be paying for 12 months. Okay, does that make sense? I know this slide is very, very important. So I want to make sure that everyone, anyone has any questions or on anything on this particular slide, especially for those that focus on buyers. This slide is gold. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I'll move on. Okay. Now then you have some people say, hey, I want to wait for the prices to come down. Okay, no problem. Well, guess what? Where do we get these percentages from? So that's probably from the previous slide. You mean the 1%? So basically what I'm saying on that second bullet, what I'm saying is that this number is if we calculate a drop of 1% of the interest rate on a $400,000 loan, okay? And then the average appreciation, actually that's from our friends in NAR. Oh, some people are friends, some people are not friends of NAR right now. But yeah, that's where I get that information. But I can send you the source of that, Malek, later if you want me to. Okay? Awesome. Okay. So, again, waiting for the prices to come down. Since 42, home values have gone up 73 years, declined 7, and one time stayed flat. Let me say that again. That's 73 times years up, 7 times down, and 1 year flat. And I'm going to show you the next slide so that we go, understand a little bit about what that means. Okay. So look at these things. Okay. And I say, never bet against the champ, right? Because basically he is 73, 7 and 1, 73 years going up, 7 going down, and 1 flat. Okay. Now, prices in 2020, 2021, people think that there's going to be a crash, right? That oh my God, something's going to happen. And if you look at the numbers here, they went up 10, then went up 19, and then went up 6%. So something's bad is going to happen. Well, again, let's look back at history. Let's look back at what has happened so far. Guess what? From 43, 47, after they come back from the war, huge appreciation. Compounded 118% appreciation, okay? And you will think, oh my God, it went up, that means it's gonna go down. Well, guess what? For 43 straight years, prices went up. 43, okay? So again, we had a huge increase in 43, 47. Some people will think, oh my God, it's gonna crash. And then went up for 43 straight years, right? Then, if you look at this, 74 to 79, prices went up. Guess what? They kept going up, okay? They went down 1% in 90. They stayed flat, 91. And after that, guess what? We have all these 14 consecutive years of prices going up, okay? The problem is that people focus only on what happened 2010, 2011, right? Of course, it was a huge shakedown. It was brutal. But if you only look at the last 3 years and then look at those years, you're not looking at the entire picture, right? And you need to look at the entire picture and go, guys, 70 out of the last 81 years, 73 years have gone up, 7 down, 1 flat. So are you going to be the one sitting on the sidelines waiting for year number 8 to come up out of the last 73? The last 81. It just doesn't make sense. And again, these are data you can show them and say, hey, the whole, they may go flat, right? Like it did. If you look at 2014 to 2018, 5, 5, 6, 5, 4, right? Again, last year it was, 2022, it was 6. I don't have the data for last year. I can find it. but it was probably flat, definitely not down, right? So they may plateau, but down 7 times out of the last 81 years. Oops. Okay, so we have that. Then, of course, inventory is down 38% from 2019. That's huge, right? So again, if you're waiting for prices to come down, the history says they won't. Inventory is pushing them even higher. And guess what? 67% of the millennials, which is around 72 million, will be in the market to buy a home. So you have, economics, supply, the past history tells you it may not happen. It probably won't happen. The supply is down 38% and the demand is up 72 million people. So waiting for prices to come down, it's really a very, very unlikely outcome if that's what's driving you not to get into the market. Okay. We discussed this already. So the next one, again, some people, hesitate to pay over ask. Now, the good thing is that the market has leveled down a little bit on that. I know the 2021s and 22s, if you didn't put 10K over ask, they will not even look at your offer. So that has plateaued a little bit, and thankfully. But guess what? If the average appreciation is at 5.86%, right? If you pay 4% today and you decide not to, 4% over, guess what? In a year, you're going to be paying six plus, and you lost that year one of equity, right? So if it's the house that you want, if it's the one, paying 3, 4, 5% over ask, it's probably a good deal when you think about it. That if you wait a year, one, the house may not be there. 2, you will lose the equity, and you still probably will pay 6% more because the appreciation is on average close to 6%. Okay. And again, inventory is a challenge. So if it's the perfect house for you, don't you think it will be a perfect house for someone else? Of course. So you need to be making those decisions there. And again, although we talk about that the rates matter less than you think, if they go down, competition will go up. It's as simple as that. If they go on, competition will go up. So just have that in mind when you think of those things. Okay. So again, to kind of summarize, we're talking about reluctant to give up low rate and move up, waiting for the rates to come down, waiting for the housing prices to come down, and that hesitancy for buyers to pay over ask. Okay, those are the ones that the research say are the big one. But I want to know, is there any other reason you have seen frequently in terms of people kind of getting over the fence as to buying or selling?
No, I think as of right now, these are like the main reasons why people aren't really wanting to. Yeah, the main thing I hear is always interest rates, and I seen the video that Maya posted that said it was average, and I was like thinking that anyways, and then also like as you were saying, like once they go up, the competition goes up, or once they go down, competition goes up. So yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. And I can tell you I'm going to bring the slide that where you explain the cost, right? This one, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that I have my agents be the most successful with, right? And again, I actually have a calculator. I'll send it to you, Nadia, where you input the numbers and you go, okay, what are you looking for? 350,000. Okay, boom, 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 boom. This much, and it comes up to the specific number that in their specific case will be, and it's never less than $20,000. I haven't seen it, and again, that's without their rent, right? So that's assuming that they're living at their parents' basement, right? So that's the most common one. I've heard that too, but I think if we present it this way, right, it makes sense. And by the way, I'm not even mentioning here that they can refi probably in 2-3 years. That's exactly. Not, I'm not even saying that, right?
Yeah.
That's
a big point that we stand on, is that you can refinance in a couple years and get the rate lower if you would like.
Right. So that's icing on the icing on the cake, right? Because again, without rent, it's 20K. That's the cake. If we include rent, that's icing on the cake.
Right.
If we include the refi, that's icing on the cake. So,
Right.
so yeah, and again, as the experts, again, remember these buyers and sellers, they're getting bombarded from all different places. We are the experts. We have to be the ones saying, let's calm down, let's sit down, let's go over the numbers, right? Let's just 2 + 2 is 4. Let's go over that and see if this makes sense to you. Are you gonna have everyone convinced? Absolutely not. But I think once you show them, and again, take the emotion and the media and all that out of the equation, they'll go like, okay, are you okay with losing 20K in a year? If you are, fine. Keep paying rent and we'll see you next year. And then you go, oh my God, I have 20,000 less for your down payment. Who has it? Your landlord. Got it. Right. So yeah, that's one. Now, Malik, any, I know you're
I think he
muted.
did have a question.
He has a question. Let's see.
Yeah, he said his big issue I run into is people not wanting to deal with insurance rates and taxes with their current home's values.
Okay, so again, taxes. Hey, what are the two things? Tax and death. Taxes will be there. Period. And again, I don't remember in my lifetime, and I just turned 51 a couple of weeks ago. Taxes going down on properties, right? So taxes are taxes. So I think what we need to make sure is make them understand the differences. So if taxes are 5% today and taxes are 5% next year, then that is not a factor to make a decision because they're going to be the same, right? And again, taxes on average are going up 2 to 3%. So the taxes that you're not willing to pay today will be higher next year, right? So that's one. And then, man, find anyone that bought an insurance house and asked 2 years ago, 5 years ago, and ask them their insurance compared to today. And that will tell you what will happen in the next 3-4 years. And especially in our beautiful Sunshine State, where, again, like it or not, I don't think we're doing a great job in terms of managing the insurance industry. And some of the things are ridiculous. But again, it's not like we're expecting that to get better next year. So waiting a year, again, to see, hey, let me wait until insurances go down. That's, again, you're betting against the house, and the house most of the time wins. If you go to a casino, you can bet on red every single time. Most of the time, you're gonna be losing if you put all the money on 33. Make sense?
Yes.
Awesome, Malik. I know you have to type. Well, if you have any additional questions regarding that, let me know. Now, here's the things that we cannot control, and when I say you, I also mean your buyers and your sellers, right? And these are things that they hear. They see CNN, Fox, and they see all these talking heads, fretting about it, stressing about this. Monthly jobs report. What can you do? Not much, right? You have your business, and hopefully, you can employ some people and do this and that. But there's not much you can do, right? Same with inflation. It is what it is. It went up. It spiked in the last couple of years. It's plateaued this year. But there's not much you as an agent, a buyer, a seller can do about that, right? Home prices, can you do something about that as an agent? Not much, right? Lack of inventory, unless you're a builder, let me know, and you need to be building a lot of houses to deal with the lack of inventory. There's not much that you as an agent can do. Same with the interest rates. And I like this one, Federal Reserve. Man, you don't know how many agents I hear, no, because the Fed. And I'm like, you know what? Can you sit down and explain me what the Fed does? Go ahead, I'll be waiting. Right? So again, these are things that we hear, media, and we hear, all these things. And yes, they have impacts. But if you sit down and go, oh, I'm not doing this because the Fed is doing this, doing that. Some people don't even know when the Fed met, which, by the way, they met, this week. So these are things that you cannot control. So from that perspective, right? Now, what you can is your attitude towards the whole thing. You know what? I'm going to make it happen. Yes, yes, or yes, right? The effort that you put into it, right? So I'm going to wake up every single morning and be there, right? And then the action, whatever way you prospect, either leads, Zillow, or whatever either has worked for you, or whatever your team has said, you know what, this is working for me. That's what you can do. Okay. So I want to leave you with this last slide, and this applies not only to what we're talking about today, but also to the elephant in the room, which is the NAR settlement, right? A lot of people think that when they do something, it's going to gradually go up, right? So if I put 1 ounce of effort, I'm going to get 1 ounce of reward, and so forth. If I put 1 hour effort, I'm going to get 1 hour reward. So it's gradual, right? And most of you, especially you're successful, that's not the case. That in reality, what happens is that most people just keep banging, things are not growing, and then suddenly, boom, it goes up because you put all that effort. Well, guess what? Most people give up during that time where you're putting the effort and things are not like panning out right away, but you're putting the hours, you're putting the repetitions, you're getting it there, right? And then suddenly, boom, it will go up. Let me tell you, I think this NAR settlement, it's tough. I get it, right? But I think what will happen is that those that are the weakest, will, shed out, and then people like you that are, investing in their trade, prospecting, doing all those things. Guess what? You saw it. Houses will be sold with or without you, right? The matter is, are you putting the effort on a daily basis? Are you using the information that I share with you today, right, to use, so you can be one of those that says, you know what, I'm right here. Most people gave up. I'm at the point where I'm going to start showing my rewards of all my efforts. Okay. So I leave you with these 2 quotes. The first one: the greatest predictor of your future are your daily actions, right? So again, if my case, losing weight, man, when I lost weight, every single day I woke up and I walked those 5 miles every single day. I did it on vacations. I did it on a cruise. Again, that was the greatest predictor of my future. When I did it, things were great. When I didn't, they were not. Okay. So think of what you're doing on a daily basis, and then go, is that taking me closer to where I want to be? And then the last one: discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. Okay. So if what you want most is that, trip around the world, but today, is that more than what you want today, which is watch another episode of your Netflix series, right? That's discipline. You will not, there will be days that you go, you know what, I don't want to do this. But if what you want most is more than what you want now, you will do it. And that is discipline. We need to combine these 2 things with the information, with the facts. And if we do those 2 things and add the facts into the equation, we should be in a much better position than most other agents out there. Okay. That's about it. So I know we have some questions throughout the meeting, the presentation, but if you have more, either through chat or audio, this is the time.
And I see Malik had to leave, so he jumped off. But yeah,
Okay.
I really like this because it's hard to explain. So with these slides, this definitely helps explaining to the buyers and explaining to them how, if they buy later when the interest goes down, they're going to be this much higher. So I really like these slides. It will definitely help us.
And I can even give you examples of people. I have someone that we closed 2 weeks ago, ended up paying like $140 something more for a very similar house.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, this is a good time. And so how do you feel about the new regulations on the buyer's commission?
Uh, you know what? It's gonna be a challenge, right? But the thing again, it's we need to look at it from different perspective. You know, definitely, for example, if you're a buyer's agent, you will be most impacted, right? Uh, but at the same time, if you're a buyer agent, you have a past database where you had great relationships with these people, uh, and you need to contact those people and say, hey, if you're going to sell, I'm your guy. By the way, I always, almost always end up my conversation with them saying, hey, if you have someone that is looking to buy, sell, either coworker, family, or friend, can I count on you referring him to me? Right? And if you did a good job, then they'll probably do. So even if you're not a listing quote unquote agent, which I don't think you should have been just a listing or just a buyer agent, but even if you were just a buyer agent, it's a matter of looking at past database and go, how can I reach out to them and get some from there? The other thing it's we have to be experts now even more than before because again, like I told you, I'm 100% sure that not 100% sure. My prediction is we're going to lose probably half of the realtors that we are there. And those are of the active realtors. I think somewhere I read that there's like 75% of people that have license that have not sold two in the last year, right? So I know that number is somewhere out there. I'm talking about the remaining 25. I think 10 are going to go, you know what? I'm out. Again, houses will be sold, right? You or another agent. People will buy houses. Right? You saw that number that has not gone down. It has not gone down in the last 20 something years. So the question is, are you going to be part of that last 15%, right? That will be there to basically saying, you know what, here's what it is. And you may have to pivot. You may have to say, okay, I'm a buyer agent all the time. What do I need to do to either, get buyers to stick with me or to pivot on how to market better to get listings? But I think the same way that in the mortgage industry, the worst time to quit was 2 years ago, I think the same thing is with the real estate now, that you want the stronger to stay, and what will happen is that, boom, the others will leave. I remember Warren Buffett, he said, the whole thing about when fool's money rushes in, smart money rushes out. Warren Buffett's highest, somewhere I heard him say that the year that he bought the most real estate was 2009, when things were crazy, when everyone was selling their pants off. Well, guess what? He's like, oh, I was going to buy 400. Can you please give me 50 for it? Yeah. Boom, here it is. I think the same thing, and now he's like making a zillion, 10 times probably. I think the same thing is going to happen with realtors. Same thing that happened in mortgage. I can tell you from the lending perspective, I saw a lot of lenders drop 21, 22. Those of us that stuck it, well, guess what? Now I have a past database that is bigger than yours because you stopped doing it for 2 years. They come back now. Remember that client that you left? I have it now. And if I do my job, providing the excellent service and being, all the things that I do, guess what? It's my client now. You lost it, right? So I think this is a time where yes, we have to be strategic. We have to pivot, to be much more efficient. But if we stick to it and we do the right things, I think the sky's the limit. I know that right now it's gloom and gloom. I get it. Believe me, I get it. But I think there's some great things to be done out there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Do you guys have any questions at all? I see Maya, Brandy, and Virginia still on here.
No, I'm good, but I really like what he was just saying. I think that's a little bit of what we've been talking about over the past couple of months going into the new year. We're just like, you got to keep the hustle going, keep learning while everyone's, slacking. You got to keep pushing through and, keep learning and becoming more efficient and getting ahead of the curve.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, analyze your processes. You know, what's working, what's not working.
Right.
And then once you find the process that works, stick to it. Right. I don't know if you heard about that acronym, SWEAT. You know, same way every time. Right. So once you find something that works, sweat it. Same way every time. Because again, if it's successful and you do it over and over and over, it's gonna pay off. And I always say that the more offers, the more yeses.
Right.
It is what it is. It's repetition. The more offers, the more yeses. And I always say each no gets me closer to my next yes.
Exactly.
So hey, 5% conversion rate. Okay, how do I get to 5% conversion rate? That means that out of 100, 5 are going to say yes, 5 and 95 no. My question is, how fast can I get to 96?
Right.
That's the way you have to look at it. How fast can I get to 96? Because that means that 96, 97, 98, 99, 100 are going to be yeses.
Right.
But guess what? You have to get to 96 because if you stop at 94, if you stop at the 94 no, you left the 5 yeses that were right around the corner.
Exactly. It's never a loss. It's always a lesson.
Yep.
Well, alrighty. Well, Maya, you have anything?
No, I don't think so. Thank you so much. The interest rates, that talk really helped me because I feel like that's the thing that I face the most challenges with. So really good information.
No problem. And by the way, you know, Nadia's going to have all my information, but that's a conversation that I can help you with. You know, this conversation that, you know, if you have someone that is very, very stuck into it, you can say, hey, you know what, I have the finance expert. I'm the housing expert. I have the finance expert. He can go detail by detail on that. And again, you can give them kind of the rundown that I gave you. But again, I have that spreadsheet where I just sit down and go, okay, give me your rent, give me your, you know, how much you're thinking of buying, how much you're thinking of down payment, Let's use the interest rate today compared to next year. And here's the number, 23,874 with 2 cents, right? So in that regards, I want to give you enough information to sound knowledgeable, but at the same time, I always tell my agents, hey, don't go too far, right? Give them that little thing, but if they ask for more, you know what? Let me hook you up with my expert, and then I'll be able to help you at that time.
I like that.
Well,
Awesome.
perfect.
Nadia, thank you very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. Next time we'll do it in person. And to the rest of the team, Brandy, Maya, Virginia, and Malek, I know he left. You are in great hands with Nadia. I can tell you, she's a hard worker, and she always looks out for her team and her people. So I think you are in great hands, and I really looking forward for the success of her brokerage with you guys as her support.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty, thank you, Rafi, and we'll see you soon. I'll make sure that they have your contact information, and look forward to doing this with you again.
Let's do it.
All right, nice.
Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.